accident. That line always hits hard. Hello Aromas, this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Red Embrace Hollywood. We are here with the new route to go for Markus. I already did the quiz and everything, and we're up to the point where my girl is I guess leaving the club after getting bitten. I'm hoping the different choices I picked will change who she's gonna be, because we've already been a Golgotha and a I forgot the other I forgot the other one. Shit, I don't remember. But whatever Heath was. I can't remember what they were. I forgot. But hopefully we aren't neither of those two, and hopefully we become, well, I didn't choose rebellion answers, so maybe we won't be. Oh well. The next thing I knew, I was on the sidewalk outside the club. What the hell was I doing here? Had I blacked out? Was this a dream? I couldn't remember walking outside even though I hadn't drunk anything strong. But I did remember that strange man, what he said to me, the bite. The bite? Did that mean? No, what a stupid thing to think. That must have just been a weird hallucination brought on by the flashing lights and pounding music. It serves me right for going to such a sleazy club, honestly. I mean, I'll be fine if we're a Golgotha again, because Markus is a Golgotha. I stumbled through the streets, finding the urge to stop and vomit. I could feel my skin growing cold. My mouth was dry and I didn't need to breathe. Yet it almost felt like I was floating too, effortlessly gliding forward. At the same time, a surge of painful, muddled emotions rushed through me. And if I could have cried, I think I would have. No, none of this was possible. There had to be some other explanation. Vampires didn't exist. But if they didn't exist, then what was I becoming? By the time I rounded the corner to an alleyway, I was ready to slump down and curl up until I figured out what the hell was going on. But as soon as the alley came into view, we see the man we're gonna go after. I saw someone standing there, watching me. Not just watching, it seemed more like he was waiting for me. He took a deep breath, slowly shaking his head. You smell fresh. If I strain my ears, I can almost hear water dripping back into the baptismal font. The man's deep voice was accented with an aristocratic southern drawl, each word slow and empathetic. His manner of speech reminded me of a preacher, melodic and a little theatrical, but almost instantly I sensed that something about him was different. Wrong somehow. Is this a dream? Dream? We're all part of a dream, sister. The devil's dream of his children playing here on earth. But no, you are not asleep, if that's what you're asking. A knowing smile stretched over his lips and he adjusted his sunglasses smugly. Now, as for introductions, I am the Grandmaster who plays blindfolded, that cut on your hand you don't remember getting, that scratched out face on the yearbook photo. They call me Markus, and I am happy to join you for the best and worst night of your existence. After tipping an imaginary hat to me, he flashed a wide grin and I glimpsed two small white fangs shining in the light. No need to mention your own name, Chico, so don't worry, I know exactly who you are. And now you're one of us, a night stalker, a bloodsucker, an overblown myth hiding a horrible monster. You're a vampire, sister. Welcome to the Valley of Death. I feel like because this is our last route, I should pick choices I didn't pick before. So I'm gonna say stop bullshitting me and tell me the truth. The truth's a rare, valuable commodity, so I don't blame you for doubting what I say. How about this? Put your hand over your heart and tell me if it beats. There you go. Isn't that strange? If I could pull a prank like this, I do believe I'd pull it on Madonna or the president, not on you. No offense, of course. Can you imagine if you put your hand on your heart and it's not beating, but you're still alive? My brain didn't feel like it could process what Markus was saying. Everything made sense, but at the same time, it all just seemed too insane to be real. As if he could sense my confusion, Markus let out a patient sigh. Considering you still look bemused, let me try to put the facts of the situation in simpler terms. You merely turned into a different kind of parasite, sister, an honest one. Money, sex, favors, you won't have to suck those out of the human folk anymore. They will simply fall into your lap. Just blood. Just blood is all you need now. Doesn't that make you feel relieved? Not really. Markus suddenly paused, taking a deep, long sniff of the air. A few moments later, he leaned towards me, this time sniffing close to my neck. Get the hell away from... A little on edge, aren't we? Again, I'm choosing options I didn't choose. Iscari. Aw, shit. I think that's what Heath is, right? Iscari. I see. I had a feeling. You shine too brightly, sister. Far too brightly for a dead thing. Even a fine mask won't hide the rot inside. But maybe there's another reason you were chosen for that house, too. He winked at me, grinning like we'd share some priceless inside joke. Except I didn't get the punchline. You're really freaking me out here. Then you're going to have a fun time with your coming tribulations, let me assure you. For now, you should at least know this. You were bitten by an Iscari vampire, which means your blood has taken on those qualities, and you're part of that house. You have my sincerest apologies. His lips curled in a slow, insidious smirk that suggested his apologies were anything but sincere. Was anything he said to me sincere, though? Did he actually know what was happening to me, or was he just some crazy druggie on the street? With my mind reeling this, I couldn't decide which situation was more plausible. Alright, I do believe that's enough. Before you get into any trouble, there is someone you need to meet. Come now, back to the pen like a good little lamb. I'm not going anywhere with you. I'm mighty sorry, sister, but I simply can't let you walk away. Before I had a chance to offer a reply, Markus grabbed my shoulders, pulled me forcefully towards the street. Try to struggle. I tried to pull out of his grip, but he only squeezed me tighter, his fingers clutching my arm with alarming strength. This route, my girl is very feisty. When we reached the street a few moments later, I noticed a black sedan parked in front of us. It hadn't been there when I walked by earlier. Don't worry, my dear, we wouldn't dream of making you ride in anything but luxury. His voice drawled on my ear, ringing with amusement as he opened the backseat door. That's real comforting, thanks. Why, anytime. Without further ceremony, Markus shoved me inside the sedan, squeezing in behind me. The second he closed the door, the shadowy driver started up the car and we sped off down the road at an alarmingly fast pace. I was too disoriented to try and figure out our destination from the landmarks passing by, but that didn't keep a sickening sense of anticipation from building in my gut. If there are any questions burning in your mind, now might be the time to ask. Markus murmured to me from the other seat, his eyes glowing faintly behind their dark lenses. I can't promise you much, let alone the answers, but I figure you deserve some semblance of a welcome. Let it never be said that I am not a gentleman. We've already read all these choices before, so I'm not gonna bother with it. It wasn't long before we arrived at a huge towering building, marked with a giant sign that read Hollywood Heights Hotel. I passed by this intimidating place before, noticing the unusually high security outside. Everyone who passed through its doors had a certain strange presence about them, even stranger than most of Hollywood's eccentrics. Markus pulled me out of the car and into the hotel's luxurious lobby, his boots clacking on the polished marble floors. We came to a stop in front of a private room, but instead of knocking, Markus simply barged right in. Good evening, Charisse. I've brought me Chica, our little Iscari novitian. No, I still don't know how to pronounce that word. Please give her your warmest welcome. Ah, welcome back, Markus. An elegant woman stood up from her chair to greet us, her eyes flicking from Markus to me. I've been expecting... Not me. She hasn't expected me. Markus, there's been a mistake. I wonder how often these mistakes happen. This individual was not supposed to be bitten. She spoke in the very slow, dangerous fashion of someone barely controlling their rage. At least that rage seemed to be directed at Markus, not me. Is that so? Markus shrugged, looking about as bothered as if he'd forgotten to get milk from the grocery store. But our sister here was the only pretty young dead thing to walk out of the abattoir. Your lucky candidate must have missed their appointment. Missed their... The woman steepled her fingers to her upper lip, and from the murderous way she stared at the ground, it was a wonder she didn't burn a hole through it. Just one headache after another. If only I could hire someone competent for a change. Well, hello. For the third time. Finally, with a deep sigh, she turned her focus back to me. I had the distinctive feeling her calculating eyes were scrutinizing me, doing some kind of rapid cost-benefit analysis. Well, let me start by saying my name, Charisse Locke. Saorise, Charisse. And I apologize for all of this happening to you. As you might have guessed, another mortal was supposed to receive the bite tonight, not you. It seems there was a misunderstanding. You know, I'm still not convinced this is real. Yes, well, it is quite real, much to your chagrin. I have never seen that word in my life, I'm sure. It seems my agent was sabotaged, presumably by your mysterious sire, who is no doubt an enemy of mine. Regardless, I'm rather short on time here, so I won't mince words. You can lament over your loss of humanity for the next century, or you can accept the hand you have been dealt and move on. Charisse breathed along without trying to hide her impatience or annoyance, like I was inconveniencing her somehow. It almost left me speechless. She was going to chalk this up to a misunderstanding. You're an accident. That line always hits hard, but I'm offering you a purpose. As cruel as it may sound, this turn of events needn't be a tragic one for you. It is a chance for all you could have ever wanted in life, perhaps even more, if you possess the will to survive. Therefore, my proposal is a straightforward one. Will you join the Los Angeles Coven of Vampires? My coven. I guess I will. Excellent. I'm glad our clever prankster chose someone with a sound head on her shoulders, if nothing else. The briefest of smiles flashed over her lips. She looks evil, like a subliminal message flicking around a TV screen. Very well, let me establish the main 3 rules of our coven. 1. When you feed, do not kill. It is unnecessary, since mortals almost always lose their memory of events leading up to the bite. 2. Never reveal your true nature to a mortal. By doing so, you endanger not only yourself, but our entire kind. As a result, you'll be disposed of. And finally, do not turn any mortal into a vampire without my permission, my explicit permission. It's necessary to keep our population to a minimum, as otherwise the area could quickly become overcrowded. Do you understand all of this? Yeah, I can get to the point. I don't appreciate your tone, but because of tonight's unfortunate circumstances, I'm willing to excuse it on this occasion. Oh, don't worry, Charisse, there's more sass coming, because I'm choosing every option I haven't chose. With a quiet sniff, Charisse motioned towards a chair beside Markus, who had languidly stretched out into his seat while we were talking. As I settled down in the offered chair, Markus flashed me a sidelong smirk. It seemed he found all of this particularly amusing. Charisse snapped her fingers to get my attention. My state of shock wasn't high on her list of priorities, apparently. Now, Michiko, you've arrived during a most difficult time. It just so happens that we're in the middle of a war, a messy political war waged— oh my god, because I'm choosing all these sassy options, I feel like my character's gonna die quicker. Waged in the dark, entirely unbeknownst to mortals. As she began her brisk business agenda, Charisse elegantly lowered herself on the couch opposite to me. The 3 houses, the ones all vampires belong to, Ascari, Mavar, and Golgotha, are fighting for the rule of Los Angeles. To put it very crudely, Ascari tend to be diplomatic, Mavar are more aggressive, and Golgotha are everything else. Ah, if only it were that simple. Yes, well, no doubt she would learn of the nuances soon enough. Crossing her legs, Charisse let out a faint sigh, one hand flitting to push up her glasses. The current ruling house is Ascari, which you and I belong to. We have governed Los Angeles for a number of years, but recently the other houses have gotten a little, how shall I put it, rowdy. We need to negotiate some sort of 3-way peace to restore order, but that's easier said than done. There are simply too many secret deals, betrayals, and assassinations going on behind the scenes. However, you are new enough to be politically naive and unbiased. She paused, that critical light glinting in her eyes again. Unlike most of the other vampires in LA, you have neither an existing reputation nor any allegiances to speak of, and thus you may be the key to our reconciliation. I don't know if I like where this is going. Charisse really gave me a blunt look, my hesitance apparently falling on deaf ears. The first task I intend to give you is a simple one, but it will serve as an accurate measure of your potential. There's a meeting going on tomorrow night between Randall, the powerful leader of the Mavar rebels, and some Golgotha emissaries. I want you to sneak into that meeting and disrupt it. No, I'd rather not walk into a death trap. Your sense of humor is truly charming. She offered me one of the most unpleasant smiles I'd ever seen. Perhaps you can disarm the guards with your sharp wit. I'm sure it will be the last thing that I expect. Tomorrow night, Markus will call you an hour before the meeting. He should have all the details you'll need. Make sure that no treaty is made between the Mavar and Golgotha. It is an important step towards forcing Randall onto our side. He's too valuable as a potential ally. Consider this task your trial. It is an opportunity to transcend your circumstances, to prove that fate chose you for a reason. Okay, blood. With an air of finality, Charisse rose and stepped briskly past me, striding over to the door. Markus shuffled aside, eyeing her with an arched eyebrow. You'll be staying here at the Hollywood Heights Hotel, in the room intended for the candidate you replaced. The hotel is managed by some of our people, so you'll be perfectly safe. The next time we speak, I will be looking forward to the tale of your success, Michiko. The door slammed shut behind her, and the swift clacking of her high heels slowly faded to distance. I turned to Markus, unsure how to exactly process everything Charisse had just told me. Well, it seems the stars smile on you, sister. He let out a delighted chuckle, winking at me behind those dark lenses. Charisse doesn't like to make mistakes. You must have caught her in a good mood tonight. Tell me, what do you think of her, the Red Queen? Powerful, confident, I like her. I met convicted felonies who seem more trustworthy. You don't trust her. Oh dear, biting the hand that feeds you, or is it feeding on the hand that bit you? Oh well, everyone always stays down on their knees in the end. Wow. You too, Markus? Markus paused, glancing down to an old-fashioned pocket watch in his palm. The fact that he owned one didn't surprise me in the least somehow. Pocket watches are cool anyway. I will be calling your room around midnight tomorrow. It will be wise to prepare yourself in every sense of the word. Now it's about time for me to head out, but before I go, I have one last thing to say to you, and I don't intend to say it twice. His expression suddenly grew dark. He stared at me intently as if to confirm I was listening. Do not trust anyone. Every soul you meet in Hollywood is full of lies. Some unintentional, others deliberate. Very rarely does anyone do what they say, or say what they truly mean. Only a fool believes everything they're told. Do you understand me, sister? That's impossible. Everyone has to trust someone. No, sister, that is just a Hollywood scam to send you on an express train to hell. Save your own hide first. Once you forget that, it's all over. And to be thoroughly honest, well, I find myself taking an unusual interest in you, Michiko. I see a spark of life, yet remaining in your cadaverous eyes, and it's far too soon to have it blown out. Snickering softly, he shoved a hand in his pocket, rummaging around for something. Where is the damn... here. If you ever want to finger paint together, or whatever it is you Iskari folk do for pleasure, this is where you'll find me. He reached for my hand, pressing a small object into my palm. My eyes flicked down to see what he'd given me, a small business card, colored bright red and emblazoned with bold black letters. Blood and Roses, a dark paradise for all of your erotic fantasies, adult movies, magazines, and more. Was I misinterpreting this card, or did Markus work at a sex shop? He does. He really does. But by the time I glanced up again, he was already gone. I hadn't even heard the door open or shut. How had he left the room so suddenly? Maybe it was for the best if I didn't know. Leaving the empty room behind, I found my way back to the front desk, asking about Charisse's reservation. But this is where we're gonna stop for today, because we are now officially gonna start trying to win Markus's heart. I don't know how it's gonna work, because Markus is barely in any of the storylines that we played, and Heath and Randall's route. But then again, I was trying to pursue those characters more. But even when you were able to like explore other places, Markus wasn't home. Well, home as in his store, so hopefully he's a little bit easier to get now that we're gonna try to focus on him solely. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.